This is Huck Jr., the host of In the Hut, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show, the show where we talk about all things that are important in the world of barbecue. From big-name interviews with competitors on the barbecue circuit, grill manufacturers and pit makers, to advice on cooking brisket and ribs. You'll find it all right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Your host, Greg Rempe, is a backyard barbecue and grilling fanatic and loves to talk about his passion, which many of us share together. You can learn more about barbecue and grilling by visiting the website, thebbqcentral.com. Now, let's get in the smoke. Here's your program host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome to the Barbecue Central Show. Yeah, it's the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. We originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, dare I say, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. Happy to have you aboard here on this Wednesday evening, hump day. Why do they call it hump day? I have my thoughts. Anyway, let me give you some contact information in case you want to jump in on the show tonight. You can dial in toll-free 877-448-0433. That's 877-448-0433. You can also email the show at any point if you wish. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Greg with one G. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. By the way, we're presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley, and that's going to be happening this weekend, September 10th through the 12th. Myron Mixon headlines this event over there in Mount Snow, Vermont. Go ahead and pick up your last-minute tickets at CelebrateTheValley.com. Celeste Dwyer was on the show last week talking about that. Very interesting. So if you happen to be in the New England area, do yourself a favor. Hook up with some last-minute tickets. You won't be sorry. Plus, you get to hobnob with one of the best guys out there in competition barbecue right now and who has been over the last number of years, Myron Mixon. CelebrateTheValley.com. Let me tell you what's happening here on the show tonight. You can decide for yourself if you want to jump in, take part, or just lay out and listen to all of the fun and excitement that will transpire here over the next 120 minutes. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, we're going to be joined by Craig Meathead Goldwyn from AmazingRibs.com. That's AmazingRibs.com. Craig is as the website would suggest, a rib aficionado, an expert. One who is a lover of all ribs when it concerns ribs. He has a great website, AmazingRibs.com. He's also a very accomplished writer. He's been a restaurant and food critic for a number of big publications out there. And we will talk to Craig about barbecue pitmasters. I mean, what's been the hot topic here over the last 4 weeks or so, 5 weeks or whatever. I've had a number of people that have taken part on the show or taken part in that show come on this show to talk about it. We had John Marcus on last week, the creator and executive producer of that show. We've also had Neil Big Mr. Straughter. We've also had hot grill on grill action, baby. Just to name a few. So we're going to be talking to him about Barbecue Pitmasters 2, kind of breaking it down from not necessarily an outsider's perspective, but as someone who doesn't compete, someone who is paid with a critiquing eye to look at this show. And he writes for the Huffington Post an article, a weekly column, just about that show. So we'll talk to Craig Goldwyn coming up 15 past the hour. 35 past the hour, we're going to be joined by longtime sponsor of the show, all-around great guy, and master marketer of the barbecue guru, Bob Trudnak. Believe it or not, and if you don't follow Competition Barbecue, you probably don't believe it. If you do follow Competition Barbecue, it's probably coming as no surprise that the good folks over at the Barbecue Guru and their namesake competition team has been invited to take part in the 2010 Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off, baby. We're going to talk to Bob about what that drawing process was like, the feelings and emotions that runs through one's self as your name, or as they say, as your bung is pulled. Really. I mean, I got to talk to the people down at the Jack Daniels about renaming those balls. It's really just homoerotic all the way around, right? Balls, bungs, bung pulling. I mean, there's got to be something better than that. It's just me thinking out loud, of course, but what do I know? So Bob Trudnak coming up 35 past the hour to talk about the upcoming, impending Jack Daniels World Championship Cook-Off, which they will be taking part in. Then we have the fourth segment, Free For All. Your chance to win fun and succulent prizes to include frog mats, wood smoke products from Greenleaf Barbecue, a Cosmos Q injection pack, which you get to choose from either a beef and pork injection or their chicken or pork soaks. We also have some new rubs, wild game rubs, and cedar planks from the good folks over at Easy Hooks, and that's bbqhooks.com. So plenty to choose from there in the fourth segment. Just got to listen, got to answer 3 questions, got to answer each question within 5 seconds. You could be walking away with free prizes. What's better than that? Nothing's better than free prizes. And then lining up for the second hour, Danielle Domofsky, pitmaster of Team BBQ, will be joining us. She has just recently been on the Season 2 of Barbecue Pitmasters just this past Thursday. That would be September 2nd. So we'll talk to her pretty much about everything that has to do with barbecue in general. We'll talk about TV. We'll talk about her doing the show. We'll talk about how she got into this whole deal and how she has parlayed this, or she has been attempting to parlay this into a full-time deal. And we'll get her take on how that's going, what it's like for not only a female, but a Canadian female to get into this heavily dominated sport that is mostly American, widely known as the America's cuisine. So Danielle Domofsky coming up 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10:05 Eastern Standard Time for what we affectionately refer to as the After Dark segment, and that's what's happening here on the show tonight. Plus, your phone calls, your emails as well, 877-448-0433. You can also shoot me that email, as I had just said, Greg, 1G, Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. All right, so I was wondering what topic I was going to be burning on tonight. Many different things racing through my mind, but I figured I'd go outside the box, leave the TV shows out of it for a while, leave barbecue out altogether, throw it all to the wind, and let's focus on something that's truly, really important here in especially us as U.S. Americans. 3 days' time from now will be September 11th, and for many of us that is alive right now, that date will forever resonate with one of the worst days in the history of our United States. 9 years ago, 3 days from now, planes flew into the World Trade Center, flew into the Pentagon. One was trying to make what many think was a run at the White House that was taken down out in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, in an open field, which I have actually viewed in person. Very, very humbling experience to be down there. And all I want to say is this is not a political statement at all. But I want to make sure that each and every one of us listening to this show, whether it be live or whether it be in a podcast form at some point later, realizes what happened that day. And this Saturday on September 11th, think about the scumbags that took down our buildings, that flew in and killed thousands of innocent civilians, of Americans, of people just like us. Because I think as time goes on, we are quickly getting away from remembering what exactly happened. And I'm not talking about doing it on one day a year on September 11th, every year from here on out. Remember it every day. Think about what happened. Think about how we should probably have a cable television channel cycling on a loop. Those rat bastards flying in to the buildings that once stood proud. Maybe that's not a bad idea so we don't forget. And so our generations that come after us don't forget what happened either. So remember what's going on Saturday. Remember not only Saturday, but Sunday and every day from now on. Don't let it get away from us. Please. All right, gang, let me tell you very quickly about bbqteamsonline.com. Look, Centralites, I hate to break it to you, but the internet is not a fad. It's not going away next week or next month. It's here to stay. And if you have a barbecue team or a barbecue business and you don't have an internet presence, you're losing valuable exposure. That's profit, that's money, that's cash dollar bills. And you may be thinking, I'm not a tech geek, so I don't want to get involved with that. Well, look, it's not a problem for Mike Ryan over at bbqteamsonline.com, because for a small monthly investment, you can own your own spot on the interwebs and reap the rewards from day one. And he will give you a 30-day free trial if you sign up right now. Just mention the show, Barbecue Central Radio Show. 30-day free trial, fully customizable websites for you right here. BBQteamsonline.com. We'll be back with Meathead right after this, the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class days, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Hey, gang, right here to talk about bbqteamsonline.com. Do you have a website? Get your barbecue team online. Visit bbqteamsonline.com for a high-quality, professionally made, fully customizable website. Easily display your team's upcoming events, start your very own online store, post event results, and show off those award-winning ribs in your photo gallery. Get your team online today by going to bbqteamsonline.com. Visit today. Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back, 15 past the hour. This is the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon headlining this September in Mount Snow, Vermont, with a VIP dinner, cooking demonstration, food festival, lots of delicious food. Secure your spot today. CelebrateTheValley.com. That's this weekend, by the way. Also by the good folks over at D-Dog's Barbecue, now offering free shipping on all orders at DDOGSBBQ.com. They also have 2 new products, Texas-style barbecue sauce and a jalapeno rib glaze. Did I mention the free shipping? It's all free. Get yourself some today. DDogsBBQ.com. It's better than ketchup. What's not better than ketchup? D-Dogs is, that's for sure. I can tell you that much. All right, the Barbecue Pitmasters show has definitely generated more buzz this year, perhaps not in the most positive way, some formats, than it did last season. And here to help me break down the first 4 episodes of this new season, this new format, is creator of Amazing Ribs website. He is also a certified barbecue judge, syndicated writer for Chicago Post, Chicago Tribune. He is also writing a weekly column for the Huffington Post, specifically on Season 2 of Barbecue Pitmasters. He was also part of the very, very, very first Barbecue Ribs Roundtable, which actually took place in a podcast fashion. We head over to the hotline, welcome in Craig Goldwyn, Meathead. Craig, how are you, buddy?
I'm great, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, and I certainly appreciate you taking time out to join me tonight. Talk a little TV, a little Barbecue Pitmasters, Craig. So now, we're 4 episodes deep in currently. Of course, 5th one airs tomorrow, which, if I am correct in my summations here, will be the last qualifier in before the final, which is the last show before, or I'm sorry, as someone who's watching the show, you're a lover of barbecue. We've documented that. You're watching with a critiquing eye for your column. Generally speaking, right now, how are you feeling about the show? How's it coming across?
Well, it's not a KCBS judging. It's a television game show. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's not a documentary. I mean, last year was a documentary. I talked with Sterling Ball of Big Papa Smokers, and he had a great line. He said, look, this ain't Ken Burns barbecue. This is the formula that they use on the Food Network and all these cooking shows. Has anybody noticed that food television is now a sport? It's all competition, and it's cut right out of the same mold and the same formula. It's interesting, it's titillating, it's entertaining, but there's some real serious flaws. I think, as you and everybody else who's watched it has pretty good sense for that.
Now, Craig, by the way, Meathead Goldwyn joining us here. AmazingRibs.com is his website if you want to check him out. One of the most heavily trafficked websites in all food categories across the world. Craig, at some point, if you keep making shows like this, does the format at some point jump the shark, so to speak?
Well, I think it's getting pretty old, really. I mean, it's really the same old, Chopped, the Iron Chef. I mean, they're all cut from the same cookie cutter. I guess it's a format that works. You had John Marcus on last week. It was a great show and great probing questions you asked, and I think he's pointed out that the ratings are higher this year. People are interested in this sort of thing, so I guess it works. It'd sure be nice if somebody creative like him could come up with a new paradigm, a new format. I mean, food competitions really haven't progressed past the original Japanese version of Iron Chef.
And that was really the best game show ever, was the Japanese.
Absolutely.
Terribly voiced. I mean, it was just the best thing ever. Meathead Goldwyn joining us here on the show. So, Meathead, as you watch the first four and you've done this Huffington Post column, which one, in your estimation, has been the best so far and why?
Well, I think the criteria that I look for is I look to learn something about cooking. The last week's one on ribs and the one previously on brisket actually had a little bit of information you could learn about cooking. I kind of wish they'd cut back to 3 cooks so that they could spend a little more time looking over their shoulder and watching them prep their ribs, watching them prep their brisket, watching them scratch their heads and figure out how the hell they're going to do their beans, and so that we could learn a little something about the cooking. But I got to tell you, I mean, one of the points that has been among the most controversial is making these people go outside their comfort zones and cook something other than the 4 classic KCBS meats. It's something other than ribs and pulled pork and brisket and chicken thighs braised in butter. They're making these guys, I mean, what's wrong with asking them to be able to cook a pork roast? What's wrong with being able to cook beans and make coleslaw? I mean, that's part of the barbecue canon. I mean, if you're going to cook barbecue, you better know how to make potato salad. I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is taking a guy who drove all the way from Georgia to the Malibu Valley or wherever the heck they're holding this damn thing in California, making him sweat in the sun, put his meat in the oven, and then throwing him out because he doesn't know how to cook catfish. And that's been, I think, the flaw that everybody's freaked out on is this, making them put out their fire before they get to serve the entree, firing them after the appetizer. That's a serious flaw, and it's a damn shame.
Isn't that, though, speaking to what this cookie cutter TV show format is like? People want to feed off of somebody else's misery, so this guy just put on his pork butt or his brisket, and 20 minutes later he's told to get the F out. Too bad because you can't cook rattlesnake. I mean, that seems to be what's drawing people in.
I don't know about that. I mean, I've tried to be level-headed about observing and writing about this thing. Last week was the first one taped. It was the 4th one broadcast, and at that time they said they were going to throw somebody out after the appetizer,
right,
but they didn't. And I don't think the show was any less entertaining because they didn't. They had all 4 cooks cook their way through. It was interesting. I don't know that that's a requirement. My other big complaint about the thing is that it's not a blind judging. I mean, last week they introduced Johnny Trigg. You're laughing. I mean, the announcer, I can't remember the goofball's name, starts out by saying each pitmaster's name, their team name, and their hometown. And then the last one, his voice rises like he's the ringmaster of a circus introducing the main attraction. He says, and finally, we have the two-time world champion from Alvarado, Texas, the Godfather, Smoking Trigger's one and only Johnny Trigg. I mean, geez, talk about loading the dice. And I don't think it's rigged, but I mean, goodness gracious, how are the judges going to respond to Johnny Trigg's meet when they hear that introduction and the other just introduced as, and now from California, Big Papa Smokers? You know, I mean, it just doesn't, it's just, you know, they need to taste it blind. They need to put one of the earlier editions of this, Marcus is, you know, this is like the fourth time Marcus has brought barbecue to television. And we all ought to be worshiping at his feet because this guy is making barbecue and competition barbecue part of the American vernacular. And it gets better every time. And I think that this one is in some ways better than last year, although that's another issue. But one of the early editions, they had the contestants watching on a TV as the judges talked about their food.
Yes.
And the judges didn't know whose food they were talking about. I'd love to see them go back to that because it was kind of fun. The guys were all sitting there and they were groaning and poking each other in the ribs. And that was kind of fun. I don't think that takes anything away from it. This panel of judges, you got Myron Mixon, who really, really knows barbecue. And then you've got, on the other end of the table, Chef Art Smith. He's got James Beard Awards, restaurants. He's a Southern chef. He knows Southern food. He knows barbecue. He's never judged competition barbecue, to my knowledge. But you got Myron Mixon saying, you put Velveeta on a turd and I'll love it. And you know when they did mac and cheese, and they all grabbed for the Velveeta, and you could just see Art Smith squirming in his chair, saying, "Please give me a piece of real cheese." I mean, Velveeta is one electron from plastic, but that's the vernacular that Myron and others are accustomed to. These guys, the judging panel is. The other one's Warren Sapp, a former pro football player who loves barbecue. There's no question. They all are looking to Myron for guidance. You can see that. So you have really, in many ways, a judging panel of one who knows all the competitors. And in fact, some of them have paid good money to take his class.
Yes.
And the brisket competition was won by a guy who took his class, who knows his predilection for au jus rather than barbecue sauce. And that's what he did. He served brisket covered with beef juice, not barbecue sauce, and lo and behold, he wins. That's, I think, the other big flaw. And it's too bad, because I think the core here is of a potentially interesting show. It's still interesting. I still enjoy it. I got to tune in every week. I'm addicted.
Meathead Goldwyn joining us here. AmazingRibs.com, again, is his website. Meathead, one of the things that I brought up with, or that I kind of burned on a couple weeks ago was the fact that it took 2 weeks or almost 3 weeks of shows before you actually saw a competition name that you actually recognize, that being Yazoo's Delta Q. My thought was the fact that, if you're going to promote a sport or if you're going to try and get the word out to the masses, the NFL doesn't go ahead and take their four stringers and the guys they just cut off the practice squad to promote the NFL. They take out Peyton Manning, they take out Tom Brady and the like. Why not get some of the biggest names out there on the competition circuit from all sanctioning bodies to do this show to just kind of get that buzz going a little bit more?
That's a fair question. I think that they wanted to show a wide range of people. They want to create. I mean, what's his name? Kyle from
the
Kyle
Slabs.
Laval from the Slabs in Kansas City. God, he gave him great TV. I mean, he melted down when they fired him after he blew out on the rattlesnake, I think it was, and he took a wire brush for scraping his grill and beat the snot out of his briskets right there and flipped the bird at the judge. That's not professional. No, I don't think so. But that's TV, man. That's drama. So they, I think they were looking for personalities. How about Diva Q? Is there a personality or what? Art Smith doesn't have any taste buds. I mean, Diva, you're a great cook. I love you, baby. You know how to cook barbecue. I'll eat your barbecue all night long. But you can't carry Art Smith's apron. I mean, this guy is a real chef. telling him he's got no taste buds was just a little over the top. So I think they're trying to, spice it up with interesting characters and, some hillbilly-looking types and some loud mouths and stuff.
Meathead Goldwyn joining us here on the Barbecue Central show. Craig, about a minute and a half left. As you watched or you saw some of the first season, you're obviously watching the second season. Two different things altogether. When one is done, two is going to end here in the next couple of weeks. Do you foresee a third season? And if so, what kind of a format is it going to be?
I don't know for sure, but yeah, I suspect it'll be back. The ratings, I'm told, are up this year over last year. There are a little over 1 million viewers in the last couple of weeks, and they seem to be climbing as word spreads. I don't know what the review ratings were from last year. I'm trying to find out. But, last year was a documentary. It was, Ken Burns Barbecue. It was fun. But the problem with last year, if you remember, is the stars of the show, the 5 or 6 guys that they followed around the circuit, they got their butts kicked every week. Yep. They didn't win a damn thing. And finally, Myron Mixon wins a 5th place. Hooray! And he runs up to the stage, he got a $100 check. That's not great entertainment. So that had to go, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back in a variant of this year. I think that this format has got a core that could be saved. I'd like to see a blind judging. I don't have a problem with appetizer and side dishes. 20% for the appetizer, 20% for the side dish, 60% for the main meat. Don't throw anybody out after they blow out on rattlesnake. Let them fight them through all the way to the end. Get a better panel of judges, people who really know food and really know barbecue. Get rid of the spiky-haired guy, the announcer.
Kevin Roberts.
And give us Padma Lakshmi. I don't know. I think there's something here. I think John Marcus is one smart guy, and he loves barbecue. And if TLC is willing to do it, he'll find a way to make it work.
This is Craig Meathead Goldwyn, and he is the founder of AmazingRibs.com, and it's really one of the foremost authorities on everything that has to do with barbecue. And you can check it out again at AmazingRibs.com. Craig, I know it's been a while since we've had you on the show. Great to catch up with you, and let's do it again soon.
That's great fun. I'd love to do it again. Thanks, and it's good to hear your voice.
All right, Craig, take care. There he is. Meathead checking in on Barbecue Pitmasters Season 2. Great insight right there from a guy that gets paid to give insight. Right? Right. Gang, quick reminder about the good folks at the Barbecue Guru, who I'll be interviewing next segment. Look, they're the inventors of automatic pit temperature control, so why would you go anywhere else? Plus a host of other products to make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Look them up on the interwebs, thebbqguru.com, or call them toll-free on your phone, 800-288-GURU, 800-288-GURU. We're back with Bob Trudnak talking about the Jack on the Barbecue Central Radio Show.
World Barbecue Champion and star of TLC's Barbecue Pitmasters, Myron Mixon, headlines this September 10th through the 12th at the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley in West Dover, Vermont. On Friday, Myron Mixon will demonstrate his world-famous barbecue at a VIP dinner and beer pairing at the gorgeous Hermitage Inn. On Saturday, Myron and former New England Culinary Institute executive chef Robert will be demonstrating their cooking skills at Mount Snow Resort. The popular Taste of the Deerfield Valley Food Festival, featuring live music, craft show, and taste from over a dozen of the best restaurants in the Mount Snow area, follows their demonstrations. Packages, including tickets and 2 nights lodging, start at just $159 per person. A portion of the proceeds will go to the Junior Iron Chef program. For more information or to purchase advance tickets, visit CelebrateTheValley.com. That's CelebrateTheValley.com. Sponsored in part by Celebrate the Valley, the town of Dover, G. Housen, 92.7 WKVT, Outside Television, Mount Snow Resort, and the Hermitage Inn. The future of barbecue is already here at thebbqguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-bay caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at TheBarbecueGuru.com. That's www.TheBBQGuru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
36 past the hour. Welcome back. This is the Barbecue Central Show, presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon headlining this event. It's this September 10th through the 12th. CelebrateTheValley.com is the place to go. Also by Yoder Smoky Mountain Barbecue, the leading online retailer of Meadow Creek barbecue equipment. Their barbecue smokers and grills are handcrafted in the Amish country of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, helping you enjoy easy and profitable barbecues for years to come. Also carrying a complete line of wonderful rubs and sauces. Serious BBQs, that's plural, BBQS, SeriousBBQs.com. It's good folks over at Yoder's Smoky Mountain Barbecue. All right, the Jack Daniels draw was held at the end of last week. My next guest had his bung pulled, getting the invite for the upcoming 2010 event in Lynchburg, Tennessee. He is the marketing manager for the Barbecue Guru, also the team's pitmaster, and they are a long-time sponsor of this very show. So we'll head over to the hotline. We will bring up Bob Trudnak joining us here on the show. Bob, how are you tonight, buddy?
How are you, Greg?
I'm doing excellent, Bob, and I appreciate you taking time out to come on the show tonight. As I just mentioned there in the open, Jack Daniels' draw was held at the end of last week. So obviously, congratulations are in order for sure. You do your part this year and get the wins at the events that allow you to be in the drawing process. And sure enough, your team's called for this year's Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. You know, you've had a few days since the announcement. How you feeling right about now, Bob?
Oh, my God. I am on cloud nine, man. It was Friday night when I found out about it, before the long weekend. And when I saw the results, I was checking it from my iPhone. I just couldn't believe it. I had to do a triple take. I had a bottle of Jack Daniels sitting there right with me.
A long weekend became an incredibly long weekend, right?
Yes, it sure did. It sure did. What an amazing feeling.
Now, Team Barbecue Guru, and the website, by the way, is thebbqguru.com. According to KCBS rankings, you're 92nd overall of like 4,000 teams. So, I mean, you're doing very well this year. 6 of your contests you finished in the top 10, and of those 6, 5 have been in the top 5 overall. You've had some overall wins as well. You guys don't hit the trail like a lot of these teams out there that are always in the top for Team of the Year rankings, but I have to imagine, Bob, they see a Team Barbecue Guru roll in, and they might be keeping an eye on you guys. How do you feel having kind of hit this stride this year?
Well, I mean, it's a great feeling. We got a great team. We all have our part. It's amazing to be out there. We have a lot of fun with it. We're out there to promote our products, obviously. And, you know, we all have a passion for cooking. And we go out there, we try to get there a day early to get the fun out of our system. And then we mean business, you know, and we just try to go out there and do our best every time and serve the best food we can possibly serve the judges. And it's been working out. So, again, it's a blast.
Bob Trudnak joining us here on the show. Bob, have you taken any competition barbecue classes, or has your team?
Yeah, I have. I took the first class I took was probably 4 years ago, and we've been cooking since 2005, or I've been cooking since 2005 for Barbecue Guru. And I took Steve Farron's class in I Smell Smoke about 4 years ago, and I just learned a lot about the philosophy of cooking and being successful. You know, he taught me a lot. And then a couple years later, I took Mike Davis's class up in New England from Lotta Bull. He went up to Massachusetts, and Fred and I were up there and spent the weekend up there and took a class. And again, took not really recipes, but ideas and philosophies and trains of thought on how to serve food to the judges and why you do certain things. So, yeah, we've certainly done that. And Kenny Baker, who's on the team, he's our operations manager. He's cooked with Dizzy Pig for a number of years before he came to us. So he's had some extensive background in successful barbecuing as well.
We talk about competition classes quite a bit here on the show. I mean, is it something, as a pitmaster yourself, part of a competition team, is that something you would recommend to people looking to get out and kind of ramp up that learning curve?
Yeah, I mean, again, I would recommend you going out there and experiencing it and, reading a book or two and talking to people, and then certainly take a class. But not necessarily write everything down and do everything that you're learning in class, but more, take information and do your own thing and develop your own skill and become successful, your own way instead of just copying what someone else has done.
Bob Trudnak, he's the marketing manager for the Barbecue Guru, pitmaster of the Barbecue Guru competition team, that website, thebbqguru.com. All right, Bob, so let's talk about the Jack for a second. It seems that most folks would rather win the Jack than the American Royal Invitational, for example. Are you in that same camp? Would winning the Jack kind of be your walk-off shot as in regards to competition barbecue?
Yeah, I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
When I posed the question to competition cooks, would you rather win the American Royal Invitational?
Oh, would I rather win?
Or would you rather win the Jack? A lot of people want to...
I mean, winning either one of them would be an incredible feeling. But they call the Jack the World Championship. It's the most prestigious. But I got to tell you, if I won either one of them, I don't know what would happen. I'd probably faint right there at the cook-off. So I can't say I'd rather win one than the other.
So have you actually started conceptualizing or perhaps even making some initial preps for that run down to Lynchburg yet?
Yeah. There's definitely a couple small changes we have to make. I know the chicken entry has to be white and dark meat, so we've been playing around with that. Tweaking our presentations. Not that we don't think we have it now, but, it's always good to challenge yourself and try to do just a little bit better. So, yeah, we've been playing around with some recipes, tweaking presentation, and just doing whatever we can to step it up just a little bit.
So aside from those tweaks, Bob, will you have a individually specific plan to work in Lynchburg that would possibly differ from any of the ones that you would normally do at a KCBS contest, for instance?
No. Actually, we're going to go out there. We're going to cook the four categories like we always do. And we're going to put the best stuff in the box and hope to God, we get a call.
Now, you're going to have to cook some other items aside from the four big meats. This is not a KCBS sanctioned contest, even though it's really kind of run like one. Will you be making any adjustments in flavor because of the judges and perhaps more specifically the judges' lack of real contest veteranship? You get a lot of judges that are sworn in the night before because the brand is looking to promote the contest, which is obviously their right. But you going to change up the flavors at all to accommodate the non-experienced palates that you're going to be facing?
I gotta tell you, I haven't given that thought yet. We still have a little bit of time, and I haven't really spoke to anybody who's been there and done that, and but I will. I'll talk to people and decide whether that's a good idea or not. But I'm definitely going to give it full thought whether I do that or not.
Bob, I would never normally do this, but somebody's obviously calling in to ask you a question. You want to take a phone call live on the air?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's see if I can do this. All right, area code 208. You're on with Bob Trudnak of the Barbecue Guru. Go ahead. Hello. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
And we're just off like that. There we go. Obviously,
Wow.
I got a little bit of stage fright there, Bob.
That was easy.
Yeah, see, nothing to the live calls. Now, you have that requirement of the white meat chicken that you talked about a little bit earlier. This is something that many teams seem to struggle with. Is that something that worries you? And what do you think you're going to be doing to overcome any pitfalls that you may run into regarding that?
I don't know if it worries me. I do a lot of white meat at home, so I play with a lot of different recipes. I do a lot of chicken breast. I do chicken wings, which is also a white meat. and I think I'm pretty confident with cooking those. But how we're going to cook them, how we're going to place them in the box along with the dark meat is probably the thing that I think about the most. It's most challenging. So, we have a cook-off this weekend that I'm preparing for right now, and I think we're going to play with some of those ideas.
All right, let's go ahead and try this again. Area code 281. You're on with Bob Trudnak of the Barbecue Guru. Name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Hello. Area code 281. You're on.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Hello. How are you?
Go ahead.
Good. Thanks. Listen, Bob, I'm actually a past customer of yours, and since I didn't get any prep, I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to ask or what I'm allowed to ask. But just let me ask you this: I currently use a couple of your products. I have some of the older Pitmaster things, and I'm basically kind of wondering if you can, without trying to turn it into a commercial, can you give me an idea of what might be some of the advantages of upgrading to your newer stuff?
Yeah, you have one of our older models?
Yeah, I've got a couple of the the competitor models.
Okay, competitor models. Well, I'll tell you, the technology and the idea hasn't changed much, but we've gone to all digital controls. What you had there was an analog control and a bar graph that read temperature within 25-degree increments. But now you can get all digital control. We've changed the way that the computer looks at the temperature and makes adjustments. So there's definitely an advantage. And if you have that old competitor model, give us a call. We can trade that in for you and give you a little bit of money back for that old control to get a new one.
Well, that'd be great. Well, I've always had great luck with your products, and they've always worked well for me. But I know there's a bunch of new stuff out, and it probably won't make me a better cook, but they sure do look cool. And I know, at least from the little I know, there's some new features that I maybe don't have on my older ones.
All right.
Sure, yeah, give us a call. I really appreciate it.
Well, great. I appreciate it. I appreciate your product.
All right, thanks for calling in tonight. Appreciate that. All right, let's get back on track. We're talking about the Jack here, people. What are we talking about? Jesus Christ. And Bob, for precious few minutes, we're going to talk about his products. Forget about that. We're talking about stuff very much more important. We're talking about the Jack 2010. And by the way, it's Bob Trudnak from the Barbecue Guru. All right, so Bob, given the success that you have had this year as a team, and you've done very well in years past as well, but you're obviously using the products, as you had mentioned there at the top of the show. You're out there to promote. Do you think that winning, and obviously now you're going to be heading down to the Jack, this really just exponentially increases the credibility of the products that you have out there and really helps those sellability on those items as well?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, the more we're out there, the more exposure we get. People stop by the camp all the time to look at our cookers. They look at our controls. And, the fact of the matter is, there's people cooking on all kinds of stuff out there, but we've got some pretty neat smokers. We have some neat controls that allow us to get some sleep. They allow us to have a little fun. And, we're still cooking barbecue just like the guy cooking on a WSM or the guy cooking on a Fast Daddy or the guy cooking on a Big Green Egg. But this just gives us a little more time to do other things. And you know what? We're out there to have a blast, and we're doing it. And, stop by and see us anytime we're out there.
Bob Trudnak joining us here on the show. One last question, Bob, here before I cut you loose. You've obviously had a chance to review the list of other invitees. IQ looks to repeat. Yazoo's Delta Q is going to be down there. Mike Wozniak of QOwl, Rhythm and Q, Pellet Envy will be back down looking for a second win. And, of course, Smoke and Trigger's only one to pull off 2 wins, winning that competition twice. And, of course, Harry Sue of Slap Yo Daddy has won a lot this year. He's made a very public run for the Jack, and he'll be down there as well looking to finish that off. Of course, many other great teams that I haven't mentioned. So as you look down there, as you've reviewed the teams, aside from yourself, obviously, that goes without saying, who do you think has the best shot at winning this year?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I wasn't nervous about this thing until you just start rattling all those team names off.
You're welcome.
I'll tell you what, it's anybody's game. I mean, they're all amazing cooks. And it's just going to be a matter of, what food the judges like that day. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. They're all fantastic cooks. And I've seen great teams, do great there, and I've seen great teams do mediocre there. So I got to be honest with you, it's a crapshoot.
Bob Trudnak is the marketing manager for the Barbecue Guru, and again, that website, thebbqguru.com, or the toll-free number on your phone, 800-288-GURU. Bob will be joining the rest of his team as they head down in October to take part in the Jack Daniels 2010 World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. Bob, of course, it goes without saying that I appreciate the sponsorship here of the show, and more importantly than that, good luck this coming in October. And if you win, of course, I'm going to be looking for that interview.
Oh, we're not even going to talk about that. We're not even going to talk about that.
All right, Bob. Well, good luck.
I'll tell you what, if you're at the Jack, stop by. We'll have a shot of whiskey together.
All right, Bob. Continued success, and we'll talk to you soon. All
right, take care, Greg.
There he is, Bob Trudnak, Barbecue Guru. Went long, well worth it. Look, I'm not saying how I need to run my show, but if you're going to call into the show and ask my guest a question, I guess it's topically relevant to ask him about older models. Keep it to the task at hand, bitches. What's up? Folks, quick reminder about the Ribolator. Gang, it's flying off the shelves, literally. So look, you want to go to the website right now, ribolator.com, and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a 4-tray Ferris wheel of wonderment, only limited by your imagination. You can do succulent fishing, and I know that's what you want me to say. But you're going to have to email the owner to see how you can get your hands on one. info@ribolator.com is the way to do that. And again, ribolator.com is the website. We'll come back with a quick 4-segment free-for-all. It's Rempe and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Hey, gang. Want to talk to you real quick about something that's very important when you're buying stuff online. You need to deal with a company that is reputable and knows what they're doing, and that's why I always recommend Fred Bernardo of Fred's Music and BBQ.com. We all know that Fred's Music is the barbecue and grilling superstore, from any kind of cooker you want to gas and charcoal grills and all the accoutrements in between to make your barbecue and grilling experience a success. But more important than all of that, Fred has been there and Fred will be there in the future. How many times have you heard the story about the guy that found that great cooker for a ridiculously low price, except it was back ordered for 10 months, or worse yet, he paid up front and never got the product? That's because some of these online retailers are here one day and gone the next. Fred has the inventory to meet your needs. It's competitively priced and shipped promptly. Shop where I shop. Fred's Music and BBQ.com. Headache-free guaranteed. Fred's Music and BBQ.com. Or, if you're in Shillington, Pennsylvania, stop by and see the smoking guitar player himself.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. It's 57 past the hour. This is your host, Greg Rempe, and this is the Barbecue Central Show presented by the 5th Annual Taste of the Deerfield Valley. Myron Mixon headlining this event. It's September 10th. It's this weekend. CelebrateTheValley.com. Hurry up. Hurry. All right, it's time to play the 4-segment free-for-all. Hey, everybody. Harry Carey here. Oh, my. Abbreviated version. We have only a precious few minutes. I had a precious few minutes last night. Never mind. Okay, here's how we're going to play the game. I'm going to go to the phone lines. You're going to answer either barbecue or not barbecue questions. Your choice. You have 5 seconds to answer each question. It's very easy. And we'll race to the phone lines. It's area code 516. This is Harry Carey in the 4-segment free-for-all. Who's this?
Hey, Harry, it's Don.
Hey, Don, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent.
All right, Don, would you like to play the game?
Absolutely, but succulently.
Succulently? Okay. Don, would you like to play barbecue questions or not barbecue questions?
Oh, barbecue questions, please.
All right, Don, here we go. First question. I had my first segment guest on earlier this evening. I mean, Greg did, not me, of course. I'm just sitting here doing the 4-segment free-for-all. Can you give me the name of his website?
AmazingRibs.com.
AmazingRibs.com. That's amazing. Don, you're paying very close attention, and I appreciate that, and I also adore it in a non-weird way. Okay, Don, second question. Greg just had Bob Trudnak on. He's going down to the Jack Daniels BBQ Championship. What's the name of the company that he's the marketing manager for?
Oh, it's something that I want from my pit is the Barbecue Guru.
That's right, the Barbecue Guru. I think .com on the end of that, and you can go right to that website. Okay, third question. You can win a prize. Don, are you excited?
I'm excited.
I know I am. Okay, Don, here we go. Let's test your pontifications. Will there be a season 3 of Barbecue Pitmasters?
There most definitely will.
I believe that, too. I believe it in the cockles of my heart. Perhaps even the subcockle region, Don. Okay, you can pick a prize.
There's some flaws with the new one, but it'll still go on.
There you go, Don. I completely agree if I ever watch television, but I don't. Okay, nevertheless, Don, you can win a prize. We have frog mats. We have Cosmo's Q. We have El Capitan Santa Maria style seasoning and a whole bunch of other stuff. Was there something you would like in particular?
I'd love to try the El Capitan seasoning.
Oh, yes, you would. Believe me, someone who has very lackluster taste buds given my current condition and poor spotum. You're going to love these things, I can guarantee it. So here's what you're going to need to do, Don. You're going to need to send me your shipping info, winner, at thebbqcentralshow.com.
All right.
Thanks for calling in tonight, Don.
Take care.
Beat it. Area code 925, name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Harry, this is Scooter from Pellet Heads, calling from Pleasanton, California.
Hi, Scooter. How are you? Scooter, would you like to play the game?
Yes, Harry, I'd like barbecue questions, please.
All right, barbecue questions it is, Scooter. You're from pellethead.com, right?
That's correct.
One of the most succulent websites out there for pellet cookers, so keep that in mind. Okay, Scooter, here we go. Question number 1. Can you name the most widely popular selling charcoal in the universe?
Well, that would be Kingsford Blue Bag.
That's right, Kingsford it is, Scooter. Very good. You're 1 for 1. Here's the second question. Scooter, what's your favorite brand of pellet pooper grill?
Mac 2-Star General.
Mac 2-Star General. That's funny that you said that, Scooter. That's my favorite one as well. It's a Mac. All right, Scooter, you're 2 for 2, much like Ron Say was back in the NDCL championships of 1976. How do you think about that?
I think that's great, Harry.
Scooter, question number 3. If you get it right, you can win a prize. Scooter, you excited?
Beyond belief.
I know I am, too. Beyond belief. Okay, Scooter, here's the third question. Can you name my second segment guest tonight?
That'd be Bob Trudnak.
That's right, Bob Trudnak of the Barbecue Guru. All right, Scooter, now you get to pick a prize. We have frog mats. We have Oakwood, wine-infused Oakwood from Greenleaf Barbecue. We have Cosmo's Q prizes. We have wild game and cedar planks from bbqhooks.com. What would you like?
I'll try the Cosmos.
Okay, now, Scooter, you have a decision to make. Would you like the injection, the beef, or the pork injection, or would you like one of their soaks, which is chicken or pork?
I'll go with the chicken soak, please.
Chicken soak it is, Scooter, and I appreciate you calling in tonight, so all you need to do is send me your shipping info. Winner at thebbqcentralshow.com.
I will do that, Harry, and go Cubbies.
Go Cubs! Thanks for calling in, Scooter. Cubs win. Cubs win. Speaking of Cubs winning, I got to get the hell out of here. See you next Wednesday. Okay. Way late. Well worth it. Scooter. Sorry. Don and Scooter look like they won 4-segment free-for-all. Thanks to my first segment guests. Well, I guess that would technically be second segment guests. Craig Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com, breaking down Season 2 of Barbecue Pitmasters. Also, Bob Trudnak talking about his journey down to the 2010 Jack Daniels World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off. And, of course, to the people over there that called in for the 4-segment free-for-all. We're going to do news real quick. We're going to come back with Diva Q, and we're going to talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling with her. So stick around. It's Rempy and Eat right here on the Barbecue Central Show.